jump up and away with Glider Rider. A few weeks ago, I was out on location for work, and I realised the landscape around me was reminding me of something. Very green, masts in the distance, and all kind of undulations in the landscape. And what it reminded me of was Glider Rider, and I recorded a whole intro about the fact on my phone, but the audio was basically no good because of the wind. So here we are, I am in the studio, but you can see, yeah, it's Glider Rider, isn't it? Produced by Binary Design for Quicksilva and released in 1986, designed and coded by Ste Pickford and other members of the Binary Design team working on the game. Ste Pickford did the fonts, I believe. And we'll start off on the Amstrad CPC, and Ste Pickford also on loading screen duties. Notice the shading on the ground, which the C64 loading screen doesn't have. So a very simple menu display. To redefine keys or just play the game. So you start off on the top right hand side of the map. You're basically on an island which you have to infiltrate by destroying the power structure around the island, 10 reactors. Your motorbike can transform into a hang glider if you take it down a slope and point the joystick in the opposite direction, which is what I've done there. And a really fantastic David Whittaker, it must be David Whittaker soundtrack, which will also appear on the 128K Spectrum version. That's a reactor bottom right there, the round thing, but they're all guarded by these laser 1980s CCTV boxes, and what you have to do is if you touch the mast, the laser thing goes bonkers for about 10 seconds. And then you quickly have to try and bomb but I've lost a lot of energy there, just try and bomb the nuclear reactor. So trying again, just got to time it right, you've got to touch the mast, and then down the slope, and then I go off the screen. Something you'll notice about Glider Rider very quickly is this is a game that really needs to be able to scroll, but it's all flick screen. Which is very annoying when... or more energy lost when there's reactors on the edge of the screen. It takes a full square of landscape to be able to launch yourself off, so you do need kind of effectively 2 hills too high to be able to launch 2 tiles high. Spectrum version. A little bit more action going on the loading screen here. We're playing Glider Rider 128. Because it's one of the first games that had a 128K version. There you go, see, game designed by Ste Pickford. But on the Spectrum, you start on the bottom right-hand side of the screen for reasons best known to, well, I guess Ste Pickford. Probably should have asked him. So there's a big compound in the middle of the island with gates. Now, drive carefully. The final reactors you need to destroy are inside that compound, so you've got to first of all knock out all the reactors outside the compound. You have 9 bombs on you, which you can drop on the reactors, well, they're grenades actually, and they can be replenished from stockpiles that are throughout the island. Apparently the island is made of plastic, as are all the trees. Crash Readers voted this their 3rd best music of 1986. Don't waste bombs, and I know I am being zapped. However, your Sinclair gave the game 5 out of 10. Looks good, but lacks depth, and it needs scrolling. But Crash gave it 80% on 48K, 92% on 128K, despite saying the game is rather dull and is practically unplayable. 92% on a game that you say is dull and unplayable. Okay. So I've already set off that laser thing there. Just got to time this right. Down I go and bomb the reactor. Don't waste bombs. Well, I was trying to bomb the reactor. Bombing the reactors is quite hard. When the lasers hit you, you will automatically start going, oh, I've hit it that time. You will start going in a different direction, or the opposite direction. And that means you can get trapped like I did there. C64 version Remember that CPC loading screen? No shading on the ground on the C64 apart from beneath the reactor there. I think, was this one of Ste Pickford's first loading screens for binary design? I think it may well have been. So it's Argus Press software on the C64. Perhaps it was for all of them, I don't know. That's Quicksilva, and I don't know what the relationship is there. So you've got the same soundtrack. Now, here's a tricky thing to spot. There is a slope on this screen, it's just very difficult to see. So I should be able to launch off. And the C64 version is very slow to draw. I did ask John Pickford about this, and he says it's due to the C64's slower processor. And then people kind of started chiming in about various things you can do on the C64 6502, and yeah. But the fact is, that's what the original coder says. So there you go. Although your bike does move faster on the 64, it's the screen drawing routine that really seems to take a hammering. In fact, I think these routines are reused for Motorcycle Madness on the Spectrum and Amstrad, but there's no C64 version because of the problems they had with Glider Rider. Now, you see, when you're zapped on the 64, you don't seem to be redirected in a different direction. I'm already inside the compound, accidentally, with 17% of energy, because I've been beamed and pushed inside it. C64 version is said to be a little bit bugged, and the text with the crack I have says a number of bugs have been fixed. Incidentally, Amstrad Action mentioned that they had the game basically locking you into, well, you get trapped, from what I can understand, and you have to press escape and restart the game. On the Amstrad version, you could get trapped in the landscape, it dropped you on trees and things. How do you stop being a hang glider? Well, you either try... Oh, I've been frazzled by a laser. Either you drive into or fly into a bit of landscape that's the same height as you took off at, or you just stop being it for reasons I don't quite fully understand. So, yeah. C64 version is a little bit odd. It's just slow, and that drawing just does annoy you. C64 reviews, Zap 71%. Would be a lot better with more variety, but gave 81% for graphics. But ChinnyVision said it was another poor game from Quicksilva, slow graphically and minute graphics and colourless. I think they gave it 6. Well, I think it averages at 6 out of 10 because there's no actual score on the review other than the individual marks. Yeah, there's just something about this C64 version, isn't there? It's that binary design thing of their games never quite seeming to translate too well onto the 64. It's a shame, because I think the tune's even better on the SID. Back onto the Amstrad. Amstrad Action gave this 77%, and they mentioned the occasional bugs, and where's the destruction, mayhem and chaos promised? And it says... they also point out how difficult it is to hit the reactors. And that comes up in a lot of the reviews. You have to be so precisely aligned. And of course there's no shadow on your hang glider, which will be so helpful. So you just kind of... the flickery grenade drops, and they cover such a small area, so you'd think that would hit it, but no, it didn't. You have to be utterly precise, and there's no way to be utterly precise because you think you're over the area and you're not. It's a shame. Ste Pickford and John Pickford's initials, I believe, are carved into the landscape rather like Slarty Bartfast did in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Haven't seen them yet. I think they're somewhere around here. Right, that base's not going off at me, so it'd be so much better if it scrolled. It just... I suppose isometric scrolling would be really, really difficult. I'm just trying to think of games that actually do it. Back onto the Spectrum. I'm getting zapped to death there. There's some more bombs there. That was kind of pile of oranges from a greengrocer's window. But I had enough bombs already. So I hit the side of the hill there and turned back into a hang glider. It's fun exploring the landscape, but it's all very... I think that one of the reviews mentions there's 100 screens. I can't verify that. The island does feel quite big, but... There's something about Glider Ride that says, I'm going to be massively fun, and it never quite gets there. And then once you do get inside the compound, it's a massive letdown, because you think there's going to be loads more action, but in fact it's just a case of, well, we'll see. Which is all we're going to do is to basically destroy the power grid. Forwarded it on, and thanks to Johnny Blanchard and ZX Gesser from the ChinnyVision Discord, who've managed to get an RZX that gives me a snapshot, well, they give me a snapshot from the RZX that will get me to the point where I've destroyed all the external reactors. So you've got half hour to complete the game. We are 16 minutes and 52 seconds in. 21% of energy. As I say, I've now taken the point from where the RZX archive copy takes off. Right, so all the things are going nuts. There's tanks and everything. Right, we're inside here. There should be 2 reactors inside here, and then that's the game completed. Well, we're going to find the submarine to, like in Spy vs. Spy 2, to rescue us. Right, there's 1 reactor there. And I can't take off there. Taking off is so fiddly, you just have to... Shame it's not another fire button or key to do it. Right, come on. Right, there's 2 there. On the edge of screen as well. It's so annoying when they're on the edge of screen. Right, I think I've destroyed 1. Right, I think 1's destroyed. I've got to get the other one. Fiddly. It's fiddly at times. It really is. Right. I've done it. Okay, you've blown up the reactors. Now get the hell out of here. So, I've got to find the submarine. I've landed again. Not intentionally. Right, let's try and take off again. Oh! The game promises so much fun, and it doesn't quite... Choo! Come on! I mean, I've got 11 minutes to escape, but I've got to find this submarine. Try a different location. Right, go down, go down! Go on! Right. Let's fly out of here. Not hit anything. Oh, that won't hurt me, I don't think. Let's just fly out. I don't think in the game there's any way to replenish your energy. I could be wrong. Game over. I've done it. I've just... Well, the sub's not... Is that a sample? I think it was. Okay, you've destroyed the island and escaped with your life. Don't let it go to your head. Press any key. I thought you had to fly around and find the sub, but apparently just flying to the sea, you make your escape. Glider Rider, a game that promises so much and initially seems fun. I love the isometric layout and the design of the island, and it gives you this kind of free roaming feel. You can drive around the place and fly and then destroy the reactors. But there's not much more to it than that. It is just a question of finding each of the sites and then working out how you tackle them. Once you get inside the base, you just destroy 2 more reactors that aren't even defended. So really there's only 8 main reactors, I think, in the game that you need to destroy before the final 2 inside the encampment. And the encampment thing looks so exciting with all the tanks and stuff, and nothing's going on in there. It effectively means that a large portion of the gameplay area isn't playable for most of the game, and it's just devoted to those 2 small reactors in the corner of the compound. Apparently Quicksilva asked for a hang gliding game, and Binary Design came up with this game instead. And I dare say Binary Design were right to develop a more exciting concept. And there's so much I like about it, but it lacks that jump. into something special. The engine's there, at least on the Spectrum and Amstrad, and they're flying around, but there needs to be more to do, more to see, and just get the handling right. And if it could scroll, which I know would be so difficult with isometric, that would make it so much better. C64 version, it's just that binary design thing of, we've done the Spectrum and Amstrad versions, they're great, here's the C64, it's rubbish, like Feud, like 180, like so many other BDL games. That's a shame, because actually the C64's got that really good David Whittaker soundtrack on the SID chip. Like Zap said, it would be a lot better with more variety. I can't disagree with that. And where is the destruction, mayhem and chaos promise that Amstrad Action asked for? So many what ifs. What if this game had more time in development to make it into something a bit special? Do give Glider Rider a go. In many ways, it's a wonderful game. The free roaming around the map, the flying, the driving the motorcycle. The problem is, it just doesn't quite get the other bits right. A real shame.